Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Precious. If this is your first time, consider pressing the subscribe button if you like this video, and you can also check out other of my videos as well. Thank you so much. So on today's video, I'm going to be talking about how to make siblings best of friends. Are you a parent like me? I've got 3 kids and it's so tiring when every minute of the day you're always the one settling one quarrel or the other, settling this argument or the other argument. This is something that I have experienced firsthand with my kids. Every parent is going to testify that when they have kids, their kids have times where they're always arguing, where they're always fighting, where they're always on their backs, like doing things that will make you ask yourself, are they really siblings or they're just there fighting all the time? So because it's something I've experienced, and I've come up with ways that my kids can actually be friends with themselves, so I thought I'll share with you guys. So how do you make siblings friends? How do you make your kids to be friends with themselves and not just fight, argue all the time? The first thing you want to do is make them care for each other. So like I said, I've got 3 kids, and what I do is I make sure that I assign chores that they'll be able to care for each other. For example, Phoebe always helps Mark when it comes to brushing his teeth. So Phoebe is always there to help Mark, to make sure Mark is okay. Chidugam helps when it's time for them to go out for bicycle ride or to ride their scooters. Chidugam is the one who goes to the garage and brings everything out. So I try my best to make sure they look after each other, to do things for each other, and they are responsible. One of the things I'm trying to teach my kids, so I'm actually teaching them at the moment, especially the eldest one, I make him feel like he's responsible for his siblings. So he has to make sure that his siblings are okay. He has to make sure that he is in charge. If mommy and daddy are not around, he has to be in charge. If mommy and daddy are, maybe if I'm upstairs working, my husband is upstairs working as well, and they're downstairs maybe watching TV or doing something, I make sure that Chidugam, who is the eldest, is in charge of all of them. He makes sure that when it's time for treats, they go and take what they're supposed to take. So make them care for each other. Give them things that they'll be able to do for one another, like bath time as well. If there's any of them that can actually help to shower the younger one, you could do that as well. So this is what I do, and this is what I've been doing to help reduce that argument all the time. So another thing that I do is I try as much as I can to praise them. If I'm very honest with you, African parents, we are not very used to praising our kids, but this is something that I am consciously learning, consciously trying to do all the time. So I try to praise my kids. As much as I am always correcting them or wanting them to be the best, I also try to praise them in the little they do, because it encourages them, you know. It makes them feel like, for example, if Phoebe helps Mark to brush his teeth properly, I say, well done, Phoebe, that's very good. That's what siblings do. That's what you do for your brother. That's what brothers and sisters do. So it makes her feel really good. That makes her, she's not responsible for Mark's brushing. Like, she's responsible that Mark is gonna brush his teeth. So if we as parents are able to praise our kids all the time when they've done something very, very good, even when they've not done something really good, but they've done something at least tiny that is very good, they will have to praise them. That helps them to get better at whatever they are doing. Another thing that I try to do is I avoid comparison. It's very, very difficult, honestly, for parents not to say, oh, look at your brother does it very well and you're not doing it very well. If I'm very honest with you, I have done that, where I compared my kids. I compared Phoebe to maybe Chidugam, or maybe Chidugam to Phoebe. I have done that, but I've come to understand that comparing them doesn't really help. If, for example, I say to Phoebe, you didn't do it very well, look at your brother always does it very well, she's going to start feeling that resentment. She's going to start feeling that, okay, my brother does it well anyway, so what am I going to do it well for if my brother does it anyway? So that's the thing that can actually happen when you always compare them. They start developing this kind of jealousy amongst themselves. So I don't think it's very healthy, and I think that, in my opinion, that parents should avoid comparing their kids. Another thing that I do is that I try to make sure that they play together. There are times in the house that no TV, no tablets, nothing, no screen, everything has to go. And you know what I found out? Whenever I take the screen off them, or whenever I say no TV, I find out that they come up with things to play with. Like, you'll be amazed what these children play with. You will be amazed the tiny things that they can play with, like boxes. They play with like they start writing, they start being creative whenever they are not on their screen. So as much as I try to make them be on the screen as well, like when they want to watch their tablet or they want to play some games on their tablet, I let them do that. But there are times where I allow them just to play together, and I find out that whenever I take this thing off them, they actually bond, they play together, they do things together. That's when Phoebe might say, oh, can we go for a bicycle ride? Or that's when Wenega can say, can we go for a walk? Or that's when Chidugan can say, can we go outside and on the trampoline? But when they are on their screen, they likely not even remember that they have bicycle. They don't even remember that they have a trampoline in the garden. So playing together helps them to bond, helps them to look after each other, helps them to actually reduce the fighting, reduce the time where they argue. But because they've played together, they've bonded together, it makes them actually reduce that argument, and they become best of friends. So that's one thing that I do to help my kids become best of friends. Another thing that I do is I make my kids apologize to each other. This is something that I didn't even know that is a way that makes them to is a way that makes them best of friends. Something I've been doing like right from day one. I try as much as I can to, whenever they do anything, as in someone upsets another person, he has to apologize. They have to apologize to themselves. That's one thing that I have been doing from like the beginning. Siblings have to apologize to themselves. One of the things it does is that it makes them to actually know what they've done is wrong, to be responsible for their action. Another thing is that it does is that it actually heals whatever. If, for example, Mark upsets Chidugam and Mark goes to say, I'm sorry, Chidugam, Chidugam feels better. Chidugam gives him a card and say, okay, that's fine, Mark. So he actually removes that hurt feelings that Chidugam is going to have, or they have amongst themselves, when one apologizes. So it's very, very important that we try as much as we can as parents to teach our kids to apologize. So that's one thing that I do to make them to the best of friends. Another thing that I do is I try to discipline the naughty one. If I'm very honest, there are times where I just discipline all of them all at the same time. Because if, for example, I've said stop doing this, and one of them misbehaves and does it again, I just discipline it. So I am trying my best not to do this, but the best way for us to actually, as parents, one of the ways to actually make them best of friends, to discipline that particular person, the naughty one amongst them. Because I find that whenever I discipline all three of them at the same time, and it's Mark that has been naughty, they get they get really hurt, they get really upset with Mark, and they start, sometimes they don't let Mark come closer to them because they feel like, yeah, he's been the naughty one, and because of him, we've all been disciplined. So I try as much as I can to discipline that one child, that one person that has been naughty, instead of disciplining all of them, to reduce them feeling upset with the other one. Another thing as well that I do to help them to be best of friends is I try as much as I can to spend time with them individually. This one is very difficult for me. The reason is because I work and I don't really have time to actually go out one after the other with them. So what I do is, instead of going out with just one person, I go out with three of them, or maybe I go out with one of them. For example, I can say it's girls' day out, and maybe I go out with Phoebe, or maybe with the boys as well. So but going out with just one of them at a time is a bit tricky for me, but that I know that it's very, very good. I know that it's time where you spend time with them, you know them better, they say things to you they'll probably not say in front of the other kids. So it's a good way to bond. So these are the ways that I have been practicing to be able to make my kids best of friends. If I'm very honest with you, this is not going to completely remove siblings arguing amongst themselves. No, it's not going to completely take it off, but it helps them to bond, that even if they argue, they can always just come back, play, and be good as they would always be. So if you've got anything that makes your kids best of friends, let me know in the comment section, because I'm learning as well. So thank you so much for watching this video. Be grateful, be positive, and be yourself. See you on my next video.